Ivy, an adorable gargoyle turned vigilante after being awakened by the cries of help from nearby citizens. She is the savior of Spanish Harlem and you get the chance to play her, but don't exactly know how, at least until today. Hello ladies and gents, I'm the Dapper Rat, or a figment of your collective imagination, and today I'll teach you how to play Ivy. Let's get started. Right out the gate, I'm going to state that this isn't going to be a hero breakdown. If you want to know what her abilities and gun do, either hop on the game and read it yourself or head to the wiki. I also want to give a disclaimer that I play a Spirit support Ivy, but she is one of the most flexible characters you can play, being able to wedge herself into almost any role, including a gun M1 drooling carry. With all that out of the way, we'll start off with positioning. Within Deadlock, there's two types of positionings to worry about. Your macro positioning, which affects strategy and the flow of the match, as well as your micro positioning, which affects your fight-to-fight effectiveness. Ivy, as a character, gets to be more loose with her macro positioning than other characters due to her ultimate letting her fly across the map relatively quickly. However, this does not mean that you can be anywhere you want, as overpushing can still easily lead to a swift death. Generally speaking, I'd recommend floating between two lanes, specifically Broadway, since it's in the middle, and one of the two outer lanes either being yellow or green. Ivy performs camp clearing really well, so generally speaking, you should opt to play on the side opposite from your hyper carry. This is because your hyper carry wants to get big and fat and have a lot of souls so that they can run the lobby later on down the line. Characters like Infernus, Seven, Wraith, and whatnot. So you don't really want to be stepping on their toes and taking their souls. As such, you should be operating on the side of the map kind of opposite of them, since Ivy does really scale well with souls and you want them as well. Anyways, once you found your side of the map, your goal is to bounce between the lanes, killing troopers as needed and picking up farms. I'd always save a kudzu bomb at the ready while farming in case I'm needed to fight someone, since for a Spirit support heavy character, my kudzu bomb is the main source of damage. The other reason to hold on to multiple kudzu bombs is to use their added DPS to be able to swiftly take a camp on the enemy side of the map. While you're on your side, you're generally safe to take your time trying to kill a camp, but if you're trying to steal something from the enemy, then you want to be pretty swift. So having that extra DPS from your kudzu bomb is really good. Now, whilst bouncing between lanes, someone will eventually enter a fight. You need to keep watch on your map to see if your team is pushing any players or being pushed by any players. As soon as this is confirmed, you simply use your ult and dive the target your enemy is facing, bringing us into a conversation of our micro positioning. But really quick before we continue, I'd highly appreciate if you could like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video, and while you're down there, you might as well leave a comment on what character or subject I should make a guide on next. That being said, back to the video. Depending on your teammates' positions, it changes how you'll engage the fight. Luckily, there is a wonderful acronym I picked up from other games that can aid in knowing if your positioning is good or not. CART, spelt C-A-R-T, stands for cover, angle, range, and timing. Cover is quite self-explanatory. Do you have something nearby to hide behind so that you can stop taking damage? Angle refers to if you are attacking from a different position than another teammate. Flanks are the ultimate angles as they give you access to a pincer attack, but even off angles will severely limit what cover your enemy can use, making it harder for them to avoid damage. Range refers to the effective range of your character. Someone like Vindicta or Great Talent can play much further away than someone like Abrams. Finally, timing refers to when you are engaged and is mostly interactive with other teammates. Getting your timing wrong can lead to you being stranded by yourself instead of jumping someone, or even lead to you not being able to aid a teammate, usually because of your own indecisiveness. So where does Ivy stand for all this? Well, cover is cover, regardless of character. If you can have cover, that is immediately always a better position than not having cover. Ivy can take deeper and more aggressive angles due to her high mobility from her ultimate, as well as great self-sustain and area denial through Stone Form and Kudzu Bomb, or Entangling Thorns, though these deeper angles require good timing to ensure you don't get stranded. Otherwise, go for a more shallow off angle. Her effective range is close to close mid-range, or in other words, anywhere less than 20 meters, and timing always has to be played by ear. External factors like other teammates or even positions macro-wise like objectives being completed or number of allies dead should always influence your timing of engagement. Alright, so this part will touch more on the semantics of how I personally play Ivy. My build ID will be put on the screen, and any updated build IDs will be put in the description below. They should be fully annotated, and I try to make them relatively simple left to right builds. The name of the section reflects to the portion of the game you're in, as well as how to discern if your item purchases are matching the tempo of the match. I have 3 extra slots to purchase in order to fill your flex slots. Generally speaking, you'll need to use some discretion to figure out when your flex items are or are not needed compared to items within the core kit. Below that, you'll find 2 additional sections, one for lane items that improve your early game effectiveness but are not inherently needed. These generally are comfort items, but over time I found myself stepping away from them. The other section being for upgrades that you get once you've kind of reached your effective max soul cap. You'll only ever really touch these items if the game goes on for longer than expected, or if you're really far ahead in souls. With the build out of the way, we can get into a demo of how I play in micro scenarios. Alright, hello ladies and gents, I'm just doing a little demo here, so I have notes off to the side for things to talk about, because I feel like it would actually be better off if I didn't do these in a script format. I think it'd be easier to make things known. First, I want to talk about lane phase, when to use Ivy's abilities, and her general most effective strategy. Now, from what I've found, at least in lower ranks, it's not too big a deal, but in higher ranks, your Kudzu's not too great for damage. It is kind of guaranteed, it's very hard to avoid, I will say, but as you can see, it's 44 damage per second, and more often than not, if you actually hit somebody with the Kudzu, let me go, no cooldown, say someone was on that, like this totem, and I threw my Kudzu, even if I threw it back behind him like this, it only takes really 1 dash for them to get out of it, so they're only going to be in it for a second. So 44 damage for a 32-second cooldown is oftentimes not worth it. Even when you get 2 charges, or even when you up the DPS and grab a few items, it's hard to really make her I call it Kudzu Bomb because that's what it used to be called. It's hard to make her Entangling Thorns do a substantial amount of damage. So it's best used either against the minions themselves, so minions will kind of stop around this line right here, around here, and around here. So if you ever see 2 or 3 minions bunched up, you can always toss your Entangling Thorns on them, but you also want to make sure that you have LOS on the minions so you can claim the souls if your Entangling Thorns does kill them. The other thing is that if you are going to use it on a player, you have to already have pressure applied to the player, and that's why for my lane phase I do more of a supportive build, is because most of my damage is only going to come through if A, somebody on the enemy team makes a massive mistake, which isn't always going to happen, but also B, if my teammate forces the enemy to make a mistake. So say the enemy is like, oh, pushing our tower and they're right here and they're shooting at us, and I'm laning with, say, an Abrams, and then he jumps out and he pins someone, say, around into this wall. They are then going to, as fast as possible because they just got pinned, double jump or use the dash jump and then probably another dash, and then they'll end up right about here. During that altercation, what you would do as Ivy, and obviously like it'll change every single time, like people might take different routes, but you're going to want to mostly shoot at them. Once you've seen them already use a dash jump and a dash, they're likely already out of stamina, which means then now, say they got pinned, they dash jump, and then dash under here, I know that they're just going to walk up these stairs. So I can do this, and they have to walk through it and take seconds upon seconds of damage from Entangling Thorns, so that's how you can get a lot of damage. Other than that, you're mostly going to use it to claim the enemy farms and stuff like that, so you can do them quicker if you have your Entangling Thorns up, because it would take me forever to do this if I didn't have it up. But also it lets you claim your own camps quicker as well, and generally speaking, until you get Tesla bullets, if you are running my build, these larger camps, specifically these ones with the 3 bigs, or the 3 medium guys, are pretty hard to do without your entangling thorns. Same with these smaller ones here. Basically, if it has a medium enemy, you're going to need your kudzu bomb at least until you get Tesla bullets. Once you have Tesla bullets, then a camp like this is not really an issue for you to do by yourself on your own side of the map. It's still going to take time. Imagine if I didn't have Tesla bullets. It's still going to take time, but it won't be too bad. Whereas on the enemy side, like if I now have Tesla bullets, I can come over to the enemy side and take a triple medium camp really quickly without them really stopping me. Especially if I do kudzu connection on top of it, you can get a pretty substantial amount of damage pretty quickly off of just a single clip and a single kudzu bomb, or sorry, entangling thorns. So that covers lane phase, that covers farming. There's also the alt dive combo. Now this kind of upgrades as you get further into the build, but generally speaking, it doesn't really matter which one of these I buy. I'll grab everything else. So this is pretty much her full build. When you are going to be diving a target, because generally speaking, I was talking about how you're going to be basically in jungle around this area, and then you see someone get attacked. I kind of showed it off, I think, early in the video. You would actually have to come in. You're going to airdrop, kudzu, and stone form. And so that'll lock them down into this area. They'll take big damage from airdrop. They'll take forced damage per second from your entangling thorns. And then your stone form does another mass amount of damage while also keeping them in the entangling thorns area. But once you actually get vortex web, what you can do is you can be coming in. There'll be a group of enemies and you can pull them into an area. So I'll actually try and do that again, but better. So I have my vortex web, airdrop, entangling thorns, and stone form. So I'll group everybody together for your airdrop and your entangling thorns so you can get as many people as possible without really needing to already be there at them. So it's like from range I can be like, oh, group them up. And so they thought that they had more time to react than they actually did because your vortex web pulls everybody together. Finally, I'm gonna cover how your kudzu should be used in fights. So your kudzu bomb is what I would call light CC. Generally speaking, people talk about hard CC and soft CC. Soft CC is stuff that like moves people, so you can think of like Rem's pillow or like Holiday's barrels, like they boop you up or away. That's soft CC. It doesn't stop you from really playing the game, but it does move your character around. Then there's hard CC, stuff like Mo and Krill's ult, Dynamo's ult, and stuff like that, where it locks you down and you can't really play the game. Haze's Sleep Dagger would fall into hard CC, even though it doesn't stop channels and it doesn't stop you from moving really. You can kind of move in it. It would still be hard CC because you can't really interact with the game while you're slept. Now for soft C, or not soft, for light CC, that's another one that I generally tend to use, and that's for stuff that kind of implies you to not engage with it. So for example, say someone wants to push the stairs so they can do damage to the tower, and I throw a kudzu bomb right here. This is light CC because there's nothing actually stopping them from just walking into the stairs and shooting it, but they don't want to because if they do, then they take damage. So it's dissuading them from doing it, but they are still allowed to do whatever it is that they want. So that's what I mean by light CC. You could also say covering fire is a type of light CC. If someone's getting chased, you give them covering fire so that the enemy has to take cover and can't chase them, and that's light CC. You're kind of dissuading people from doing a certain type of thing. So because entangling thorns can also count as a light CC and dissuade people, that means that if you're pushing an advantage, so, oh, me and my teammate did a lot of damage and they're running away, instead of throwing the kudzu bomb at the enemy, you throw it to where they're going to go. Because now that puts them in a lose-lose scenario where they either take a lot of damage running through your entangling thorns, or they stick around in an area that's unsafe for them. So it's a lose-lose scenario. Alternatively, if your team is falling back, it's actually better if the team is pushing you to toss it at your feet and then run away, because they're going to be where you were, if that makes sense. So if I'm like here and I see them sliding down the staircase and they like jump to come at me, I can kudzu here and then dash back, and I'm holding here and they're just stuck here, right in the middle of my kudzu bomb where they're going to be taking, or right in the middle of my entangling thorns where they're going to be taking a lot of damage. And then now somebody's in an active fight, like say my Abrams is fighting somebody in this small room right here in the speakeasy, then you can just simply throw a kudzu in there, and it makes it so that they don't really want to fight in that area, and either they take a lot of damage, or what they'll have to do is just try and escape, which gives your Abrams or your teammate, whoever's fighting that 1v1, the advantage because they're able to keep fighting because they don't have to worry about the damage of your Entangling Thorns affecting them. And that covers basically every way that you can use your Entangling Thorns. Close off escape routes, stop people from pushing, and keep people getting damage while in an active fight with somebody else. So you're never really throwing your kudzu right at an enemy, you're kind of predicting where they're going to be after your kudzu is already hitting them. So even if I'm over here and like somebody's pressuring this right here, I'm not actually going to throw my kudzu right onto it. That wouldn't make sense because then they only have half the distance to dash through. But if they're on this podium right here, what I can do is throw the kudzu behind it, still hitting the podium. So now I took away their cover. So their only alternative is to either walk forward and sit out in the open right here, or the kudzu bomb was like right there, or they have to back up and run through all of this Entangling Thorns and take much more damage than they would have if I just put it right here, because then it's just one dash and they're out. Alright, hopefully the live version of me did just fine without the script, because with that I've taught you basically all that I know when it comes to playing Ivy. Only last tidbit would be to recognize that Ivy does phenomenal damage to objectives, so if the opportunity presents itself, you should take it. You know, if nobody's guarding a guardian or a walker and they're all on the other side of the map from you, then go and take it. You do a lot of damage. Anyways, I digress. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. The playlist on the left will teach you more about Deadlock if you wish to improve, whilst the video on the right is statistically the most interesting thing you could watch right now, provided that YouTube's share of the AI bubble hasn't burst. That being said, I've been the Dapper Rat, and as always, farewell, ladies and gents.